I face each of 8,500 sanitation workers to shake hands with each person and say to each person, thank you for keeping New York City alive. This is a truth that has escaped our information-drenched culture. Every day I send out a telex, that's what they had before fax machines, so that people can track me throughout the system all over town, locally and citywide. I spend at least an 8-hour, often an 16-hour work shift modeling my performance art time on their 8-hour work shift, making increasingly fiery speeches at roll call. I'm not here to watch you, to study you, to judge you. I am here to be with you. All the shifts, all the seasons, to walk out the whole city with you, to thank you. That's not a very Western art concept, being with. This is the South Bronx. This is Brooklyn, disgraceful facility. Then I walk out some of the thousands of curb miles with the Sandmen. At that time, it was still an entirely male, risky, and possibly dangerous. As Smithson would call it, this expedition exploration is a taboo situation. It is also thrilling. Every day I face strangers, which is scary for me, but I'm fueled by my own personal fury as a mother, maintenance worker, at how maintenance workers, both woman as the destined, interior, personal, home plus children, maintenance worker, and sanitation workers, keepers of the exterior city as home, are not seen, not heard, not honored, dumped outside of the culture. This gets complicated. Do you know why everybody hates us? A lot of sanitation workers said to me. Why? Do you know the reason? They think we're their mother. They think we're their maid. As if it were obvious. If they were women, are they saying it would be okay to hate them? Would it? And who are they saying this to? It's 6 a.m. roll call. Here we are in Staten Island. That's it. It's high time to rupture this ancient, evil, ridiculous twinned bubble. I am like them, and yet not yet. This is a feminist artwork, but I aim to make this a coalition. I end up in the National Enquirer. Artists waste thousands of your tax dollars shaking hands with garbage men. $3,000 I got from the NEA that I parceled out for 7 days of video and 100 hours of audio, etc. I meet a sanitation worker. I see deep in his eyes what I have come to call the gates of acceptance. I see him looking at me, and then I see his gates opening up. He has decided, what the hell, I will trust her. I will tell her what it does to me inside when people think we are part of the garbage. He tells me amazing things. I feel right at home, and he fully intends for me to pass this along as an artwork. We are exploding the old upstairs, downstairs cultural frame together. This is a sub-theme that happened along the way called Follow in Your Footsteps. I copy their moves out on the street because the audience is hidden behind a curtain. behind the Venetian blind. They'll call up on you, but they usually won't talk to you. And also, it cracks them up. We're dancing in the street. I thought the performance itself would take 3 months, and it takes 11 months. It is hard on my own family. But as for me, I am just fine. I'm treated very well, with surprising moments of grace. Every day I send out a telex saying where I will be to touch sanitation, so people all over town know how far I've come. It's 3 a.m. I arrive at a dank little godforsaken section office in the Bronx, and I haven't had enough sleep. What am I doing this for? I ask myself. Then the foreman looks through a little crack in the door and opens it up. I've been tracking you all year, he said. I had said I'm going to do this, and they have been mapping me all over the city. Picture that visually. That's the art. I don't run away. I keep coming back, just as they do. That's what binds us, and that is our power. A human being always has the freedom, always has the freedom to say no, but a human being also has the freedom to say yes, to open your hand. This art is to create a dismapping and a remapping of the entire living city from its underbelly up, only via the ineffable individuality of each worker, with everyone with whom we are entirely dependent, now inside of the picture. This is the beginning of democratic public culture. And I must say that along this long journey, two of my biggest supporters were Hannah Wilke and Anna Mendieta. This is the social mirror. Most recently showed up at the Armory Art Fair in 2007. Ceremonial sweep where the bosses, union bosses and the sanitation commissioner, members of the press, the entire executive committee of the sanitation department told the workers, you be the spectators, take a break. We'll sweep the 32 blocks of the parade route. And they did. I just have to say, when I called up the union president and said, Mr. Ostrowski, will you sweep 32 blocks of the parade route? So he said to me, is Norman doing it? That's the commissioner. So actually I lied. And I said, yes, he is. I hadn't asked him yet. He said, is he going to sweep all 32 blocks? I said, yes, he is. He said, you know what? He'll wait till the first TV crew gets him, and then he's out of there. I said, no. He said he would sweep the whole. Then I call up the commissioner. Will you sweep the 32 blocks? He said, is Ostrowski doing it? I said, yes, he is. Okay. And after the first TV crew, but Ostrowski swept the whole thing. This is Turnaround for Danahy Park. It has 4 parts. This is a test that I did actually with the Sanitation Department and Department of Transportation in New York for Cambridge. This is a half-mile long access path that they voluntarily made to make it a public place for everyone to get to the top of the mound in Danahy Park. This was a garbage dump that was closed in 1970. I have 10 tons of stained glass scrap that was donated by Spectrum Glass Company in Washington, shipped across the country. and the first week's harvest of recycling in Cambridge. When it first began recycling, and bottles collected by kids all over Cambridge from every different level of school. This is a Galaxy dance floor made out of recycled rubber. This is it installed in the park. And thrones for the Queen and King of the Hill, because I hope that people will feel that public space enriches each person because we all own it. This is called Public Offerings, Made by All, Redeemed by All. Fresh Kills in New York City was the largest municipal landfill in the world until it stopped receiving waste in March 2001, and then it was reopened very briefly on September 12th, 2001, to begin to receive the remains of the World Trade Center. Here it is in the bad old days in 1979, before environmental regulations. That's the distance we've traveled. And here it is in the beginning of rebuilding the mounds, preparing for environmental closure. It is becoming a unique environmental urban park, and I have a Percent for Art commission to deal with the whole site and to actually construct a smaller piece. It's 3 Central Parks big. Mine might be a little piece, but it's going to get people on the ground there. Some of my guiding principles are that Fresh Kills Park can be a symbol for our power to create transformation of the land. Fresh Kills Park needs to reconnect to all those who made it in the first place. Not everyone agrees with me about that, by the way. Fresh Kills is 3 times the size of New York City Central Park. It has 4 mounds. I'm interested in it not only for itself, which is fascinating, but to me it sits within a larger, the next circle out is a picture of our whole culture. On your left are the fossil fuel tanks of New Jersey. On the right is the large Staten Island Mall. Buy, throw out, throw out, throw out. You can imagine throwing things right across the street and watching the mound rising right in front of your face. And crisscrossing the entire site, a wondrous nature reserve. And then on top of the West Mound, the buried debris of the World Trade Center, 50 acres out of 2,200. Many of my proposals are in the city's draft master plan, the plan for the whole site, published in March 2006, and this is one of them. Over 50 years, millions of people threw out over 150 million tons of garbage. This created the mounds at Fresh Kills. This is the official city map of the sanitation department. All the streets, that's why it's so dense, and the city is on this map, every single one, because sanitation knows where everyone is. Think about that. They have to know where you are so they can come take away your waste. And this artwork piggybacks on this phenomenal operational expertise. How does a place switch its meaning and become something else? The words site and place become confusing here. If you drive by or fly over, there are those mounds. Certainly, they are in Staten Island, but when you stand there, you are actually standing on Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, 50 years worth.